When it comes to claims for bus accidents, some of the common mistakes that people make that I see here in my practice in Mississippi are not getting treatment or following up on medical treatment. If it's a situation, where it's less than catastrophic injury. When buses are involved in wrecks, unfortunately, the injuries involved are typically more severe, so catastrophic injury, death, or pretty severe injury, and so most folks in that situation, are going to get emergency medical treatment. But common across all personal injury claims, just a mistake that people frequently make is not getting follow-up treatment, not following doctors' directions. So I have to raise that as, even in the context of a bus claim, of just something that you don't want a victim to do and make that mistake. So getting the medical treatment that you need is a mistake you want to avoid. Secondly, I think probably the biggest mistake people make in terms of bus wreck claims or bus accident claims is that invariably when a bus wreck happens, it makes the news. And there are lawyers out there I'll say without commenting on the practice, but there are lawyers out there who show up at the doorstep or send people knocking on the door of victims and their families trying to sign up the case. And to the other extreme, victims and their families sometimes look to attorneys that they have a relationship with who maybe they've done a will for them or they've done some real estate deeds or handled a bankruptcy or handled their divorce. They turn to them on their bus wreck claim. And the reality is what a victim of a bus wreck really needs is competent legal representation by an attorney, by a firm that litigates personal injury cases every day. And that hopefully doesn't have to go knocking on doors to get them. And so, I think a common mistake is either putting trust into an attorney or representation that is a complete stranger that just shows up, or on the other end, trust an attorney and representation that you may have a relationship with that may be very effective counsel on other matters for you, but who just don't have experience and who don't work daily in personal injury litigation. Because bus wrecks tend to be complex cases involving usually multiple parties, because most often more than one person is injured, multiple high value claims. There's typically significant amounts of money at stake, both in terms of the personal injury claims, potentially punitive claims, etc. And bus cases, just by nature, are complex cases on litigation because there's multiple angles on showing liability. both from a corporate perspective, driver perspective, other vehicles involved, and proving the case in terms of liability is just a different animal than a run-of-the-mill car wreck, and is certainly very different from other areas of practice, like bankruptcy or divorce or criminal law, what have you. Working up a complex personal injury litigation, specifically a bus wreck case, is going to involve certain types of experts, multiple experts. So it's complex litigation that you just don't want attorneys who are learning it on the fly. So you need representation from an attorney who has been involved in complex litigation, who regularly litigates personal injury cases, who is not afraid to work up the case the right way and make the investment for the experts that you need in the investigations, and who will dig in and demand fair value for the claim on behalf of that client. And that's probably the single biggest mistake, is rushing into representation, or not putting some time and thought into who you choose to represent on the claim. A bus wreck claim is not a claim that anyone should represent themselves on, or try to do it yourself, or try to have a family member just deal directly with the bus carrier or the company or their insurance company or that adjuster. Doesn't matter how big or small the claim is, that's just a claim that you can't do on your own. You need legal representation, and you need to put some thought and consideration into who you hire to do that. Those are the biggest mistakes that I see people make in regards to these types of claims. Whether it be a bus wreck, whether it be an 18-wheeler wreck, these types of large, complex litigation cases. And so, to the extent that you can avoid those, you're doing yourself a favor, you're doing your loved one a favor. I'm Brad Morris, here at Brad Morris Law Firm, and if you have other questions about a potential bus wreck claim or other major litigation, I invite you to reach out to us. We will do our best to answer your questions. We don't charge anything for consults. The personal injury cases that we work on are strictly on a contingency fee basis. So you have nothing to lose reaching out to us. And we will do everything in our power to try to get you pointed in the right direction. Make sure you get the help that you need. So again, I'm Brad Morris. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this, and I hope you find this information helpful.